Do you want to hear some bells? Do it again. One more time. Nice. Good morning. Welcome. My name is Reverend Kate Wilkinson, and I am so glad that you are here with us this morning. We bid you welcome on this first Sunday of the new year. In ancient Roman religion and myth, Janus is the god of beginnings, transitions, doorways, and endings. He is usually depicted as having two faces, since he looks to the future and to the past. Like Janus, we gather this morning with part of us looking backward and part of us looking forward. We gather on the edge of the new year, saddened by our losses, cherishing our joys, aware of our failures, mindful of days gone by. We gather on the cusp of this new year, eager to begin anew, hopeful for what lies ahead, promising to make changes, anticipating tomorrows and tomorrows. We invite you to join our worship this morning, knowing that life includes good and bad, endings and beginnings. We bid you welcome. Each Sunday we light our chalice as a symbol of our faith. This morning we invite Bruce to light our chalice for us.
Chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live fully anew. May we move forward with intention. Thank you.
Our prayer this morning is by Lynn Cox. Spirit of life and love, known by many names, and yet fully known by none, we give thanks for this time and this place of renewal. We give thanks for the ability to begin again after the disaster, after the tragedy, after the loss, after meeting the challenge set before us. Grant us the courage to continue on the journey, the courage to speak up for the well-being of others and ourselves and the planet. May we forgive each other when our courage falls short, and may we try again. Grant us hearts to love boldly, to embody our faith and our values in living words and deeds. May our hearts open to embrace humility, grace, and reconciliation. Grant us the ability to learn and grow, to let the spirit of love and truth work its transformation upon us and within us. Grant us the spirit of hospitality, the willingness to sustain a fit dwelling place for the holy that resides in all beings. Grant us a sense of being at peace in the world, even as we are in motion. Let us cultivate together the strength to welcome every kind of gift and all manner of ways to be on the journey together. To this we add the silent prayers of our hearts. So just like Janus, that God with two faces, our service is divided into two parts this morning, looking back and later looking forward. On New Year's Day, my friend Andrea built a fire in the fireplace and invited her family to gather around. Throw all your regrets from the past year into the fire, she told her 3 sons. We're young, they said. We have no regrets. To be so young and content. I have a hunch that most of us are not so free of regret, not so free of regret's cousins, remorse and resentment. We could probably think of some things to throw into Andrea's fire. And I wanted to do that with you, the burning bowl ritual that many Unitarian Universalist congregations do at this time of year. But I was afraid that you would throw me out for endangering our 1847 building. But don't worry, a little Googling provided me with a quite satisfying alternative. This morning, we will be dissolving instead of burning. The new year calls us forward, filled with mystery. As we turn toward that new year, we take a final glimpse of the past year and reckon with all that it held for us. Worship committee members and our helpers, that's you, Grace, are going to move through the aisles now with pens and something called dissolving paper. It's a special material that dissolves in warm water. Take a piece of the paper and reflect on the year behind you. Consider what you might leave behind today, dissolving it into the waters of the year gone by so that it changes form and disappears. What parts of our lives, what things, ideas, people, ways of living have become obstacles to our becoming the people we want to be, the people we need to be? What is holding you back? What is getting in the way of you living as fully as you'd like to? What might you dissolve away? What will you relinquish? So once your paper and the writing implement comes to you, write a word or two on the paper. You can lean on your hymnal if you need a hard surface. And don't worry, no one's going to see what you write except you, the water, and the universe. So take a few moments now to write a word or two of something you would like to leave behind in the old year. So for the next few minutes, music is going to invite you forward so that you can put your paper in the water that I'm about to pour into this bowl. As the water dissolves your paper, let it go. Give it a stir. It takes a little bit of swishing. You can think of our stirrer as a magic wand, if that helps. So give it a few swishes and watch it go. And as we usually do for our rituals, I invite you to come forward up this aisle, which you can reach through the back of the sanctuary, and return to your seats through the center and far aisles. Let us begin. If the past year held joy and growth for you, may that sweetness continue to bless you. If the past year held pain and bitterness, may you be relieved of those burdens and renewed for the journey ahead. Let us look to the new with hope, with curiosity about its many unknowns, and with faith in our strength to navigate it with grace. So we have spent the morning thus far looking back, seeing what we are carrying and holding on to that is no longer serving us. And we have bravely named those things that we are ready to leave behind. And we have let the gentle water of our community swallow them and disappear them for us, so that we may now make a turn toward the future, a little less burdened, a little less attached, a little less stuck. And now it is time to face not the past, but the future, to face full on the new year before us. And we can do that in many ways. Often people make resolutions or set goals. I like to do that. A new calendar year feels like a good opportunity to begin again in a way, to start fresh, to move forward in a significant way. The part I don't like about New Year's resolutions is the part that is often based in shame, in a sense of not enoughness. One of my favorite authors, Anne Lamott, says, another word for New Year's Day is Thursday. It's okay to breathe. Well, I guess this year it would have been Tuesday, but you get the idea. Let's take the pressure off. Let's embrace the ritual without the not enoughness of it all. Another one of my gurus, Reverend Nadia Bowles-Weber, gives this yearly reminder. There is no resolution that, if kept, will make you more worthy of love. You, as your actual self, not some made-up ideal self, are already worthy. There is no resolution that, if kept, will make you more worthy of love. You are already worthy. So let's not turn forward, face January with a list of things that we are not going to do or be anymore. But let's also not give up on the opportunity to set some intentions for the new year before us, because we are lucky to be alive. And this new year is a gift that is being offered us. It's not offered to everyone. And we are not through with growing or changing or becoming our full selves. So take a few moments now. You can shut your eyes if you want to imagine something good that you would like to see in the new year. Something life-giving, something justice-growing, something nurturing of your soul and the world. Take a few moments to visualize that goodness that you want in 2019. You can open your eyes. One of the good things that I want to experience more of in the new year is reading and listening to more of the words of my teachers, my favorite poets and writers, my wise colleagues, new voices just arriving on the scene. I want to be bathed in beautiful words. I want to wrap myself in language and wisdom. I want to hear poetry recited by my friends. I want to read what you have written. And so today, as we celebrate this new year, for the rest of the service, members of the worship committee are going to begin this luxurious word bath by reading us poems about the turning of the year by some of our favorite writers.
The Map You Make Yourself by Jan Richardson. You have looked at so many doors with longing, wondering if your life lay on the other side. For today, close the door. For today, choose the door that opens to the inside. Travel the most ancient way of all, the path that leads you to the center of your life. No map but the one you make yourself. No provision but what you already carry, and the grace that comes to those who walk the pilgrim's way. Speak this blessing as you set out and watch how your rhythm slows. The cadence of the road drawing you into the pace that is your own. Eat when hungry. Rest when tired. Listen to your dreaming. Welcome detours as doors deeper in. Pray for protection. Ask for the guidance you need. Offer gladness for the gifts that come. And then let them go. Do not expect to return by the same road. Home is always by another way, and you will know it not by the light that waits for you, but by the star that blazes inside you, telling you where you are is holy, and you are welcome here.
The Word by Tony Hoagland. Down near the bottom of the crossed out list of things you have to do today, between green thread and broccoli, you find that you have penciled sunlight. Resting on the page, the word is beautiful. It touches you, and if you had a friend and sunlight were present, he had sent you from someplace distant as the morning to cheer you up and to remind you that among your duties, pleasure is a thing that also needs accomplishing. Do you remember that time and light are kinds of love? And love is no less practical than a coffee grinder or a spare safe tire. Tomorrow you may be utterly without a clue, but today you get a telegram from the heart in exile proclaiming that the kingdom still exists. The king and queen alive, still speaking to their children, to anyone among them who can find the time to sit in the sun and listen.
New Year's Day by Billy Collins. Everyone has two birthdays. According to the English essayist Charles Lamb, the day you were born and New Year's Day. a droll observation to mull over as I wait for the tea water to boil in a kitchen that is being transformed by the morning light into one of those brilliant rooms of Matisse. No one ever regarded the 1st of January with indifference, writes Lamb. For unlike Groundhog Day or the Feast of the Annunciation, this one marks nothing but the passage of time, I realized as I lowered a tin diving bell of tea leaves into the little body of boiling water. I admit to regarding my own birthday as the joyous anniversary of my existence, probably because I was and remain to this day in late December an only child. And as an only child, a tea-sipping, toast-nibbling only child, in a colorful room this morning, I would welcome an extra birthday. One more opportunity to stop what we're doing for a moment and reflect on my being here on earth. And one more birthday might be a consolation to us all for having to face a death day, too. An X in a square on some kitchen calendar of the future. The day when each of us is thrown off the train of time by a burly, heartless conductor as it roars through the months and years. Party hats, candles, confettis, and horoscopes billowing up in the turbulent storm of its wake.
Be More of You, A New Year's Invitation and Spell by Adrienne Marie Brown. It gets in our bones, fear. Fear of ridicule and isolation, fear of the unknown, fear of past traumas being repeated, fear that what we experience now is all there is, fear of dying, individually, as a people, as movements. The older we get, the more ways we watch people die. Celebrities snatched up by the heart, economic and climate refugees swallowed by salt water, surprising accidents, death by state, drawn-out battles with internal opponents, our perpetual global wars. When the threats come, we can shrink. As this year crash lands in a stand of burning trees, we have watched an unfolding of the unexpected against our radical will, a daunting removal of certain collectively held bubbles for those of us in us-based social movements. We shrink in part by ignoring our own emotional breadth, our surprise, our grief, our mounting fears. One of the ways we do our oppressors' work for them is to deny our own complexity, wholeness, our right to exist, to attempt to shrink or disappear those parts of ourselves deemed inferior or undesirable to the mainstream. We can forget that we shape the mainstream and all the alternative streams with our own lived assertions and divergence. In the spirit of honoring change, taking the New Year's ritual as an opportunity to assert a collective behavioral commitment, I invite you to speak a spell aloud to yourself in the mirror until you believe yourself. Do this in the darkness of New Year's Eve and any time afterwards when such a spell is needed, including at the top of your lungs in the face of anyone even slightly challenging your right to be all of yourself. Let this commitment to hold your wholeness as sacred inform your relationships, economics, fashion, food and time use choices. Do not concede any of the ground you have gained on the path to liberation. Be you with the volume of 1,000,000. All of your interesting identities intersecting cantankerous opinions and unorthodox pleasures, be unapologetically complex, a distinct individual in an interdependent network that thrives in part because of your unique offering. Here is an offering toward the spell. Feel free to use it verbatim or remix, add on to, create your own. I assert the sacredness of my whole self as is. I love myself with curiosity as a student instead of perfectionism. I do not shrink inside of or ignore my fear. I move toward my longings with my fear as part of my emotional wholeness. I am kind in the heart of conflict without betraying my beliefs. I seek to understand the motivations of those who differ from me without denying my full humanity. I think my own thoughts and feel my own feelings. I cut through groupthink with love. I have no reason to be ashamed of anything that has shaped me. I relinquish my obsession with outcomes and with control. I deepen into the call to shape a world that can hold all of me, knowing I can feel that world in my bones, even if I cannot yet fully comprehend or even imagine it. I use the majority of my attention and words to generate joy, gratitude, positivity, solutions, pleasure, intimacy, and liberation in myself and others. In the never-ending process of change, I will be more of myself.
Meditation for a New Year by Amanda Pape. My friends, we have arrived. We are here in this new year. We have crossed the boundary of time into the next year with all its resolutions and plans and schedules ahead of us. Let us pause for just this moment before we boldly onward. Let us pause to hear the breathing of those around us, to feel their presence in this room, to know their presence in our lives. Let us pause to consider the trees, their branches stripped bare, their elegant architecture on display. Let us pause to feel the spirit of life and love that ties us to each other, that winds its way through our very bones and settles in our hearts. Before we move forward, armed with resolutions that will shortly be forgotten in the day-to-day of living, let us notice what it is that remains every year, every day. What exists beyond schedules and months, beyond time. It welcomes us to life, not just the start of the year, but every day. And let us answer, Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that gorgeous word bath. Let's close in song. Won't you please join me in singing